Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode on my June 2024 Comprehension Questions. I'm calling this video an episode because I made another video on the same past paper and this time I'm dealing it differently. The link to my first video is given in the description box, and in this video we are exploring a level-based question which is all the way different from point-based questions. Now you can see on my screen a level-based question which carries 8 marks, and it is different from the point-based question because point-based question normally carries 2 marks. So here what you have to do, explain the disadvantages of both the content of the voting slip and the process of how to cast a vote. So your task here is to focus on the disadvantages of not only the content that is mentioned on the voting slip, but also the process of casting that vote. It means your challenge is to examine both the content and the process. If you only address the disadvantages of the content and you miss the process, you will not achieve a high score here then. It is equally important to not only identify the point from the content as well as the process, but also you make sure that there is some development with these points. Now let's discuss some of the content disadvantages here. If you look at the voting slip, there is no place to write the name of the voter. So means this is your point, right? And how can you develop that point that no one at the magazine will know the name of the voter then? So what can happen next? People can vote the same slip more than once then. And another disadvantage, if you look at the content of the voting slip, is that there is no deadline mentioned here on the voting slip, which indicates the last day of voting. So this is the point. And how can you develop this point? It means that an important vote may be missed if the voter doesn't pay any attention to the date then. Now, let me discuss some of the processes here, and you can get this information from the additional information. There are some points which talks about the same process. For example, one of the points says Frugali City Life offices are located up 5 flights of narrow stairs. Now, let me show you what kind of a point is considered as a well-developed point. For example, if you say Frugali City Life's offices are located up 5 flights of narrow stairs, this would be the point only that you identify from AI regarding the process of casting a vote. If you write only this much info, just copy pasting the material and do not further develop that point, it means you cannot score high marks then. But if you say Frugali City Life offices are located up 5 flights of narrow stairs, and which is not ideal for people with health issues or disabilities, then there are chances that you score better marks. But not only one point, that is a well developed one, but at least 3 to 4 well developed ideas. Now, there are some other points from the additional information that talks about the process of casting a vote. For example, point 5 says Mango's daughter is working as one of the receptionists at Fugali City Life. This is only the point. If you write only this much, you cannot score high marks. But if you develop this point further, for example, you can say that she was in duty, so she might pass on only the vote when she is getting the vote. She might pass on only the vote for the restaurant, international hotel. Gambetta, it means she can prefer one thing, one restaurant over another. Now, point 11 from additional information talks about the process. Again, a minority frugali citizens own a smartphone or computer. How can you develop this point further now? You can say that majority will have a single choice left as to drop off the slip now. They have means they have to physically go there because only a minority of the frugali citizens will be able to text or email their vote. Now, point 13 from the additional information talks about the small women building sign on the front of the building is totally covered in graffiti. How can this point be developed further? You can say any voter, if they're trying to locate the offices, might give up. Means they go back because small sign on the front of the building is totally covered in graffiti. How can they find this sign then? How can they locate the building then? Now, my honest advice to you all is to carefully examine the question first, then go for the key ideas before you start your answer. Because simply stating a point is considered as a bare statement. It means that you are not supporting your arguments. But the examiner here expects more than that from you. Examiner needs some explanation, some reasoning, or you can say you can call this idea as some development.